cruise. Huh? I believe it is. It's pulling over and I don't see anyone else waiting here. Now, note that I have to walk a block because it actually went zipping right by me. But it will give me 4 minutes or something to get into my car. So we are trying to get a cruise autonomous driving vehicle. It's late. Here we are in downtown Austin. We have ordered one. And so far it's missed us one time. It drove around the block. So let's see what happens next. And there is no driver. Look at that. Now,
live video from inside the car. Riding in Monarch, am I speaking with Scotty?
yes, you are.
Oh, how's everything going?
Everything's great. We're just buckling our seatbelts
Going well.
and we're good to go.
All right, looks like you know the drill. I'll definitely stay in the line to make sure the vehicle moves, and from there we can disconnect.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to tap start ride. Let's cruise.
Awesome. Is there anything you need before I let you go?
Nope, that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I do want to thank you for being the best part of Cruise. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye. We're ending this call, but we're always here if you need us.
Oh, and look, there is the capital of Texas. Right there. Okay, that's pretty awesome. So there's a cruise across the street, but that is not our cruise, is it? Because our cruise is still 3 blocks away, according to the app. So our car just drove right by us. We can't flag it down because there's no driver, although it will sit on the street with its emergency flashers on for a few minutes, so we can walk over. I will say with these driverless cars, there's a fair amount of walking because we had to walk up the block and then we walked to the pickup spot and it drove right past us. Now we are here and we're gonna go get in the cruise. It's pretty, it is pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they want to get rid of it.
This is not us, is it? Is this
No,
our...
we've arrived.
Oh, we
Check your
arrived.
bikes and cars as you exit the sidewalk. Thanks for riding with Cruise.
So now we are in the cruise called Cookie and we're on to our next destination. So I can see our destinations over here and here we are. So that was super fast.
We arrived.
I'm gonna
Check your
grab
bikes
my
and cars
things.
as you exit on the sidewalk side. Thanks for riding with Cruise.
Thank you, Cruise. So now let's see, I can just hop that and away we go. Thank you, Cookie. And there she goes. So we are at our destination, which is over there. And I guess the car is probably getting its next destination because it will take off. So this is our driverless car, Clay. And you can see Clay is obeying the stop sign over here. There's a stop sign right there. And oh, and giving the pedestrian a little room. Oh, there's another cruise right there. Giving the pedestrian a little room to cross the street. Once you get to your car, just tap the button on the app to unlock the doors. Always get in on the curbside, that's safest, although the doors will open on the street side. And people will ask you questions. This guy and his son wanted to know more about the driverless taxi. So the process is pretty easy. You download the app, you add your credit card, and then when you're in a cruise zone, you can call a car. In Austin, the hours are 8 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. And in Phoenix and San Francisco, I think they have longer hours. So it's very limited just to nighttime drive times here in Austin. And then when you're in the zone and you need to call a cruise, you just like Uber or any other rideshare app, you open your app and set your destination. It shows you a very detailed map. So I've been pretty solidly been able to find the location on my map and see exactly where the Cruise is going to pick me up. You can see them driving all around, so that's pretty cool. And it's very clear which is your car. There is no question if somebody drives by and says, hey, I'm here to pick you up. They are not, because there is no driver in this car that's going to pick you up. Honestly, if you're sitting here and you're just watching the car drive, you would never know that there's not a driver sitting in the front seat of this car. A couple of other things to note. This is a Chevy Bolt, so it is all electric. So you can see there's the range, and you can see all the Bolt details, the blue lights. There are lots of passenger safety here. So there's a camera right there, and there's an end ride button for if for some reason you needed to hit emergency end ride up there, but there's plexiglass here, so that's between you and that button. But there actually is an end ride button over here too, that's just on this panel right up here. So I could press this to end the ride, and if I need help, I can press that to get help too. On the tablet here, I can also press to end the ride there. There are some filters there, so I can set the cabin temperature, and I can set the tablet brightness, and I can play some music if I like to. They give me some nice choices. I can play some jazz and blues, contemporary Christian, Austin Public Radio. So I don't know where they get their choices, but I can do that, or I can just tap my trip map and go back to the trip. Now, I started like right there, so this route did take me the longest way around. But like I said, it's 100 degrees outside, so I don't really care. So if you never thought it would be possible for a car to drive itself, I've been doing this. This is my third night out driving in cruise cars. But you know, compared to a lot of taxi experiences, I would say this is very pleasant. They clearly clean this car out every day. It is very clean. And look, there's a Cruise right behind us too. But it is wild to just see this car driving itself with no driver in the driver's seat. And here we go. Now, interestingly, you also cannot hear the turn signal. So quite a few times I've had to look over on the driver's screen to see if the car had its turn signal on. Sure enough, it did. It sure did. I love how you can see this electric driver information screen, and then you can also see the driver's information over there. The cool thing is they can leave the front cabin at whatever temperature, and I can leave the rear of the cabin at whatever temperature I want, because there's nobody in the front seats. I guess they just have it preset at 68 degrees, which is pretty nice. But you don't need to cool the cabin for the front seat driver. And there's another and another and another. They're all lined up right behind us. So a lot of people still have not taken the plunge to drive in a driverless car. And I even hear people asking, would you do it? Would you do it? And I will say this is not my first time. Even the first time I drove in a Cruise, it wasn't my first time in a driverless car. So I feel pretty confident, but I also do feel like you need to kind of have your wits about you, and maybe a little bit more than you might if you're just sitting back and relaxing and letting a human do the driving, because you just don't know. You hear stories of them getting stuck in concrete, cement, and who knows, other kind of crazy things going on. So, but you know, I've been in taxi cabs in New York City where I felt like my life was being threatened. So, so it's not, this is, I would say, on a scale of 1 to 10 of some of the cabs you can get into in New York City, maybe being like a 3 or a 4, I'd put this in like the 8 to 10 range. It definitely is easy. I had to walk a little bit to get my car. It didn't stop right where I was standing. It didn't recognize me. It goes to a point where I have to meet the car. I like the fact that I have to push a button on my phone to open the doors. And I like the fact that once I get in, it's locked and I'm the only one in here. So that is a comfort factor for riding around by yourself, especially. But it also is nice, you know, if you're wherever you are, to know that you're safe. And I also like the fact that there is an operator here that I can access at any time. If I feel like I need to speak with someone, I can call someone from Cruise and they will be on the line to help me with whatever I need. Interestingly, when the gentleman came on the call, called into the cabin, he knew that the car had just stopped for no apparent reason. I don't know. I'm sure the car knows why it stopped, but I don't know why it stopped. And then it went on and it was fine. So if there was something really wrong, I think they probably would have, I'm sure they must have a protocol of what they do when that happens. So I don't know what that is, but it was interesting. I'll have to find out the answer to that. What do they do if somebody's in the car and it just stops and won't go any further? Because you should not be getting out of the car in the middle of the road. You should always get out on the curb. But it's pretty cool to be in a driverless car.
We're arriving soon. Please stay buckled up until we stop and grab all your things.
Okay. And it looks like it also will take me and allow me to exit on the driver's side because it's a one-way street. So hopefully I'll be able to get out on the left side of the car versus the right side of the car. Oh, interesting to see how it's going to navigate this construction over here. Perfectly. Pretty perfectly so far. And now we're going to hop over here and it's going to let me out right on the left side, which I appreciate because that's where I wanted to go. All right. Oh, wait. Nope. It's taking me down to the next corner. Okay. Oh, isn't that interesting? It sensed that car and then this is right where it picked me up the first time. Okay, how about that? Thank you, Clay. Now, I could have probably ended the ride before, but I did not.
We arrived.
Okay.
Check for bikes and cars as you exit on the sidewalk side. Thanks for riding with Cruise.
Great, thank you, Cruise. Or Clay. So I did really like the pickup process with that ride. It did pick me up, allowed me to cross a very busy street where I can't stop and walk just across the street to a not so busy cross street where I was able to pick up my Cruise ride. So I really did like that. So I have to say that was pretty cool. It is really nice to be able to just tap and get the car that you want and go where you want, and it was clean, it's efficient. Right now it's super affordable, so I appreciate that. And it's kind of lovely to drive around in a self-driving, autonomous electric car. Pretty awesome.